This morning, I was standing by my window watching the snowfall, and there was just something so peaceful about that moment.
I know exactly what you mean. It's those quiet morning moments that really ground us, right? Like everything else just kind of melts away.
And that's exactly what we hope to create here on Blue Mountain Morning, a little space of calm in your day. Somewhere to pause and make sense of everything happening in our world.
Yeah, and what a morning it is today, Tuesday, January 21st. I actually caught the sunrise earlier, and it got me thinking about how we all share these small but meaningful moments, even when we're miles apart.
That's what makes this time so special. And we're here, as always, to help you find some clarity and connection as you start your day.
Speaking of finding clarity, let's look at what's happening in our nation today. The big story that's got everyone talking is this major winter storm system that's bearing down on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, and this isn't your typical winter weather for that region. We're looking at millions of Americans potentially facing snow, ice, and some pretty brutal cold temperatures.
It's pretty unusual. The National Weather Service is saying this could be one of the most significant winter events for the Gulf Coast in recent memory. They're particularly concerned about ice accumulation on roads and power lines.
And you know what's really striking about this? Places like New Orleans and other coastal communities, they're just not equipped to handle these conditions like northern cities are.
Right. Local officials are already urging residents to stay home if possible, and they're mobilizing emergency response teams. The storm's expected to hit later tonight and continue through tomorrow.
And then there's our other major story, the significant changes happening in Washington, where we're seeing the first executive actions from the new administration rolling out.
That's right. Trump's already signed orders targeting environmental regulations and immigration policies. It's a clear signal that he's diving straight into his campaign promises.
Yeah, and it feels like he's wasting no time setting the tone for his presidency. Did you catch the one about reinstating the Keystone XL pipeline?
I did, and that's definitely going to stir up debate, not just about energy policy, but also its environmental and economic impacts. It's only day one, and we're already seeing major ripple effects.
Marc, looking deeper into this winter storm situation, I can't help but think about what this means for our infrastructure, especially in these southern regions.
Oh, absolutely. Like these communities, their power grids and emergency services, they're just not built for this kind of weather. I mean, we saw what happened in Texas a couple years back when they had that major freeze.
Right, and that raises some really interesting points about climate patterns. Like, we're seeing these extreme weather events becoming more frequent in places that historically didn't have to deal with them.
Yeah, and you know what's fascinating? The data shows that these once-in-a-century events are now happening, like, every few years. It's forcing communities to completely rethink their emergency preparedness.
I was reading that some cities are actually starting to invest in cold weather equipment they never needed before.
Exactly. And it's not just about buying snowplows or salt trucks. It's about, well, everything. From updating building codes to training emergency responders for winter conditions they're not used to handling.
The economic impact is pretty staggering, too. When these communities shut down, even for a few days.
Oh man, yeah. You're talking about millions in lost business, emergency response costs, infrastructure repairs. And the thing is, these southern states often don't have those costs built into their annual budgets because, historically, they didn't need to.
And it's not just government spending, right? I mean, regular folks are having to adapt too.
That's actually a really good point. People in these regions are now having to invest in things like pipe insulation, emergency generators, stuff that wasn't really on their radar before. You know what really gets me? In times like these, we see the absolute best of America. Like just yesterday, I heard about this amazing group of volunteers in Mobile, Alabama.
Oh yeah? What happened there?
So these folks, they're basically running this impromptu winter shelter network out of their community center. Started with just one family opening their doors, and now they've got like 50 people involved.
That's incredible. And I guess with this storm coming, they're really going to need that kind of support system.
Exactly. And speaking of support systems, can I share some really practical advice for anyone in the storm's path?
Please do. I know a lot of our listeners might be dealing with this soon.
Okay, so first thing, and this is super important, you want to create what I call a 3-day bubble. That means having enough supplies to stay warm and fed for at least 3 days.
Like, what specific things should people grab?
Non-perishable food, obviously, but also, and people sometimes forget this, you need a manual can opener. And batteries, flashlights, and those emergency phone chargers. Oh, and fill up your bathtub with water before the storm hits.
I've never heard that bathtub tip before.
Yeah! If the power goes out and you lose water pressure, you've got water for basic stuff like flushing toilets. And you know what else people forget? Cash. Having some actual cash on hand when power's out can be a lifesaver.
Those are really solid tips. And I love how you're seeing communities come together to help each other prepare too.
That's honestly what makes me most hopeful. Even in the toughest times, Americans just have this incredible way of showing up for each other.
You know, this morning I was watching the frost patterns on my window, those delicate swirls of ice, and it got me thinking about how nature has this way of making even challenging moments beautiful.
I love that observation. It's like, even in the midst of this intense winter storm heading our way, there's still this quiet magic to it all.
Yeah, and you know what's really striking? When the snow falls, there's this incredible stillness that settles over everything.
That's so true. It's like the whole world just takes a collective breath. And you know what's kind of amazing? From Maine to Mississippi, we're all experiencing this together.
In a way, these storms, they kind of remind us that we're all connected, don't they? Like, we're all under the same sky, facing the same challenges.
Exactly. And just like those frost patterns you mentioned, sometimes the most beautiful moments come from the most challenging conditions. It's all about perspective, isn't it?
And maybe that's what we all need right now. Just that gentle reminder to find those quiet moments of peace, even when the wind is howling outside.
Like a warm cup of coffee by the window, watching the world turn white. Well, folks, that brings us to the end of today's Blue Mountain Morning. Thanks so much for starting your day with us.
Yeah, and remember, no matter what storms might be brewing, literal or metaphorical, we're here every morning to help you find those moments of clarity and calm.
Absolutely. And hey, we'd love to have you join us again tomorrow morning, same time, as we continue our journey together through the day's stories.
Until then, stay warm, stay safe, and most importantly, stay connected to those quiet moments that make each morning special. This is Blue Mountain Morning.
See you tomorrow, everyone.